I thought my life was unusual, and then I saw the butt punt. And then I see Kevin Dorsey screaming and throwing a temper tantrum after the game. And then I relate to him. So, I guess things are weird, I guess. But yeah, 3 weeks in the season, so far so good out of the show.
Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, about now, about now, about now.
What is poppin', y'all? It's your man, Cowboy Bales. Welcome to another episode of Wisco Sports Weekly Wednesday Predictions. It's been a crazy 3 weeks so far of football. I'm excited for next week, but before we get down to business, I like to, of course, send my prayers down to everybody in Florida right now. I have a lot of family that lives down there, so of course I gotta give my prayers for everything going down there. So hurricanes are obviously crazy, so obviously I got them in my thoughts, and I got everybody down there in my thoughts. So obviously you should think the same thing, but it's absolutely crazy that what's going down there. So prayers down to everybody. And of course, let's get down to business anyways. If you like what you see, subscribe below, comment with your thoughts. Let's get on to business. Alright, so Thursday night football matchup, we have the Miami Dolphins versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Miami, well, let's just say they are undefeated. You know, I was like, this team's overhyped. And Cincinnati, you know, they're starting, and a lot of people think they're a fluke. A lot of people think they're a fluke. Their Super Bowl was a fluke. But I feel like Cincinnati, if they want to get through this season, they're going to have to win these games. Like, win these very important games. They haven't done that yet. Realistically, they could be 4-0, but I guess it just doesn't work out that way sometimes. But anyways, if I had to pick between the two, I feel like Cincinnati will just walk out with the win, just because I feel like they need it. I feel like Miami will eventually lose, but you know, I feel like Cincinnati's going to win this one. That's just how I feel. Next up, we have our first London matchup of the year, the Minnesota Vikings versus the New Orleans Saints. Minnesota's offense is very surprising. They actually have a good team that really could look good. New Orleans, on the other hand, one of the best defenses in the league, worst offenses. So pretty much not really sure or sold on what really these two teams are at this point. But if I had to pick between the two, I think Minnesota has the better offense, and I feel like New Orleans' offense just isn't that good at all. So I feel like Minnesota will win this game. Next up, Cleveland Browns, Atlanta Falcons. Cleveland, when I look at Cleveland, you know, I thought they were going to suck because they didn't have Deshaun Watson and Jacoby Brissett was their QB, but I completely forget about how good their running game is and how good their offensive line is. And their defense is pretty underrated now. Myles Garrett, he just got involved in a car accident, so we don't know how he's going to do. Thankfully, no broken bones, but, you know, obviously it's a huge loss that he's probably not going to play this week. Atlanta, on the other hand, they did get a win, and they didn't choke. They had the lead, and they did not choke. So, that's a good thing. But here, I think Cleveland has actually been playing really good, and they really should be undefeated. That Week 2 game where the Jets came back and won was pretty unbelievable, but I'll say Cleveland wins this game against Atlanta. Next up, Washington Commanders versus Dallas Cowboys. So far in Cooper Rush's career, he is 3-0. Pretty impressive. Washington, on the other hand, Carson Wentz just can't stop getting sacked. I swear, this guy gets sacked every time I see him out on the field. But if I had to choose between the two, I think Dallas will win another game. It's just Washington just isn't that good. Next up, Seattle Seahawks, Detroit Lions. Seattle, isn't as bad as I thought they were, but they're just going to keep on losing games, in my opinion. I just don't think they have what it takes to win, really, against these big teams. Detroit, this could be an easy game because Detroit's defense hasn't been playing as good, but on the other hand, Detroit's offense is actually a lot better than I thought, and I think Detroit will win another game. I think Detroit, from what we've seen, is actually going to be really good offensively. So I think Detroit will win this game. Next up, Tennessee Titans, Indianapolis Colts. I don't know what to really think of either team. Both these teams, it's like everyone's like it's either going to be this or this winning the division. I'm like, but both of these teams are just not good at all. So really, I'm just going to go with the home team, and I'm picking Indianapolis because I really have no idea who is the better team out of the two. Next up, Chicago Bears, New York Giants. Well, long live the 2-0 record, Giants. You are frauds, and you always will be frauds. Chicago, they're 2-1, but they literally had to face easy teams, so I'm not going to really give them too much as a hard of a time. So pretty much, I'm not sure what to really think of this one, but here, I feel the Giants are going to win another game. I don't know, I just look at this and I'm like, maybe the Giants will actually win it. I don't know. Alright, next up, Jacksonville Jaguars, Philadelphia Eagles. Well, Jacksonville's 2-1. Out of all surprising. Doug Peterson has officially tied Urban Meyer for the 5th most wins in franchise history. With 2. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I don't want to crap on your franchise here, but they're not going to beat Philly. Philly is right now really hot, and I don't really know how anyone's going to beat them right now. Philly's going to be really good this year, so I say Philly beats Jacksonville. Next up, New York Jets, Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh's offense is just awful. Awful, awful, awful. They're lucky they're facing the Jets this week. They should win this game. I'm taking Pittsburgh. I'm not going to really talk about this. Next up, Buffalo, Baltimore. This is 2 offensive battles. I think right now, if the season ended, it'd either be Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen winning MVP. My pick probably be Lamar Jackson, but obviously there's so much of the season left, you never know. If I had to pick between the two, I feel like Buffalo is probably going to get their revenge win off on Baltimore just because of what happened last week, but we'll see what happens. Next up, Los Angeles Chargers, Houston Texans. Well, the Chargers got absolutely... They choke away a game against Kansas City in a close game. Then they lose badly to Jacksonville. I really don't know what the heck is wrong with this team. I'll say the Chargers win this one just because they're the Chargers, but I don't know. Next up, Arizona Cardinals, Carolina Panthers. Every time Arizona plays Carolina, they lose. I don't know what it is. They always lose to Carolina. So I feel like I'm just going to continue this trend and pick Carolina because I really don't know why. And then next up we have New England Patriots, Green Bay Packers. Mac Jones apparently was crying when he was heading to the locker room after suffering some ankle sprain. So right now they have Brian Hoyer at quarterback. Their team just hasn't been as good. And they were really showing their offense actually last week, but now without Mac Jones, I'm like, do I really think they will? I don't know. With this being said, I said Green Bay should win. I mean, there's really nothing else I can say. Then Denver, Las Vegas. Denver has no offense. Las Vegas hasn't won a game yet. Please, I'm just going to say Las Vegas wins because I want them to win a game. And I just feel bad for Devontae Adams. Let them win a game. Denver's just overrated and garbage. Las Vegas should win. Alright. Now, if things change, I don't know if that game will be postponed or moved somewhere because of the hurricane, but we have the Sunday Night Football matchup being Kansas City Chiefs versus Tampa Bay Bucks. If I had to pick, I'm going to go Kansas City. Tampa Bay just doesn't have the offense, because Brady just isn't looking good at all. Like, their offense is, their defense is, the best defense I've ever seen. But you know, it provides for Brady's offense. We'll see what happens when he gets maybe Godwin and Jones back. You know, things might be better, but from what I know, I feel like Kansas City is gonna win just because Tampa Bay's offense has just been a little stale, and I don't know what. I think you got to get some things going a little bit. And then finally, Monday Night Football, Los Angeles Rams, San Francisco 49ers. Well, San Francisco always beats the Rams. So, you know, San Francisco may be playing absolutely awful so far this season. No offense at all. Nothing you can really see. But I feel like San Francisco, finally, they'll awaken their offense and they'll win the game. I mean, I think the Rams are overrated. They'll still win the division, but I say San Francisco wins this game. It's only early in this season, but who knows. So, if you like what you see, subscribe below, comment with your thoughts, and as always, we'll see you next time. Whew, what a long week.